Finn, I would like you to read what's on the screen. Read it out, okay? Go for it.
Finoggin, draw my life, ...
That's what you're going to be doing today.
Oh, wait, how much of my life am I drawing?
You can draw as much as you want. Have you ever seen these, like, Draw My Life videos? Like, we did one.
Yeah, we reacted to one of you the other day.
Exactly. Well, you're not interesting enough to have someone else make one yet, so we're going to make one for you.
Ouch, that stings, but I'm still happy about that. That's sick.
Anyway, I've drawn this out. What you're going to do, we're going to switch setups. You're going to take it away on the drawing, and I'm just going to sit there and watch your life unfold on paper, okay?
Can I use stickmen? I'm not great at drawing.
You can do whatever you want. All right, let's switch.
All right, sounds good. I'm coming in, baby. I'm coming in. Prepare yourself.
Why did you leave your shoes?
I took my shoes off because it's nice and cozy.
Bro, they stink, dude.
All right, that's not true. And also, your chair's really comfy.
Okay. Well, yeah, your microphone's... Okay, why is your monitor so low? All right, go on then, Finn. Take it away.
All right, let me... So, Finoggin, draw my life. All right, let's do this. Okay, so first things first, Josh. Finoggin... Oh, why is it not doing it? Here we go. Finoggin was born.
Okay.
All right, so I was born in a place called Basildon.
Okay.
This is a place...
You're literally already rushing it, by the way.
This is a place in Essex. Okay.
So what is that supposed to be on the left-hand side?
This is me.
As a baby? Okay,
yeah.
Finn. Okay.
Okay, so this is how I was
born. As a
born.
baby?
As a baby? All right, hold on, wait. Let me undo these things. Okay, as a baby, there we go.
No, stop.
So this is... So, this is me. Oh, you know what we should do? Like those Hollywood movies for high school where they're like, hey, I bet you're wondering who this guy is. Well, I grew up in Basildon, Essex, which is the coolest place around. And
okay.
Yeah, it's actually a bit of a hole, I'll be honest with you, but you know, it wasn't back then.
Do you have any like interesting stories about specifically like how your birth, you know?
My birth was on the 20th of October at 5 a.m. Mum, if you're watching this, am I right? I think I am. But yeah, it was about, it was about 5 a.m. in the morning. And do you know what's funny as well? When I was born, okay, all of the nurses...
You've got to be drawing, Finn.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so hold on.
Refresh.
Right,
and draw like a hospital.
So here's the hospital with the...
What is that?
With the...
it looks like
cross.
A castle.
Okay, here we go. And the doors. All right. And this is the hospital. And then... At about 5 a.m., little baby Finley was born. Wait for it. Goo goo gaga. Oh, smiley with some hair, because I was born with hair. And where's my mum? Hold on. She needs to be like pinky. Okay, so here we go. She's holding me.
What is wrong with her head?
There we go. There we go.
Look at the hole in her head.
No, that's just hair. Don't worry about that. It's a comb over. Okay, and this is my mum. So she gave birth to me. And where's Papa? Papa Haynes. He's like over here as well. And he's like cheering it on. I have a son! Yay! I have.
Don't you have an older brother?
Yeah, well, yeah, as well. But, you know, I have a son, he says. Okay, so...
I have a backup.
I have a backup. So, basically, I'm the youngest of all of my siblings, okay? And when I was born, let me show you this. So these are the nurses. They're in blue. All of the nurses on the ward rushed in to see me because I was the most beautiful baby they had ever seen.
Okay, all right. And now we're just making stuff up.
I'm actually not even making that up. All of the nurses had to come in
to
see me.
Said that.
And you know what's really funny as well? Because my dad is, you know, he's a very good-looking man as well, and he was a ladies' man in the day. They allowed him to get in the bath, and they like gave him a bath to sleep in, and was making more of a fuss over my dad than my mum, who was giving birth. But that's all in the past now. That's fine. So, you know.
You remember all of this?
I remembered all of this when I was laying
Finn,
here.
what is going on with this right now?
These are the nurses, dude.
This is cursed. This is cursed.
And their little nurse hats. Okay.
Why are you giving them dunce hats?
That's a nurse hat. Anyway, back in the day. So that was my birth. The beautiful baby Finley that everyone loved and still does to this day. Okay, moving on. So, fast forward a few years. I'm now 4 years old. Oh, bro, can this... What's this app called? Keeps changing my purple color. Here we go. I'm now 4 years old, okay? So here I am, 4 years old. and I fly on a plane over to Mallorca, the island of Mallorca, the Balearic island of Mallorca. So that's like next to Ibiza and that. This is a plane, by the way. So I'm flying on the plane. Here's the engine.
Why is a circle?
This is just to highlight the plane. So here I am with my whole family, my sister, brother, mum, and dad, and here we are.
Damn, you were tall.
Yeah, I grew really quick. I'm 8 foot here, and then I somehow shrunk back down. Okay.
Back down to 5'9".
No, 5'11". All right. So anyway, reload. And we landed in the island of Majorca. Okay, so here are the islands.
So some would say that you are an island boy.
I'm an island boy, and I was 4 years old when we moved there. 4 years old. And I settled in a place known as S or L Capdea, which is a little village near a place called Calvia on the island of Majorca.
Why were you there?
And it was quaint. Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know. And if I ask my parents, they always just say like, oh, wanted to get away. Wait, this is my mum. Wanted to get away from UK, nice weather, sun, and we could, so we did. That's what they'd say. And they also wanted me to have like more of a traditional upbringing, so you know I could go out into the village with my mates and on my bikes and all that, because it was very like outdoorsy. They didn't have to worry about going up and down the road and stuff.
Okay. No, bleep that.
Bleep that. Okay, so anyway, so fast forward, we're now in Majorca. I go to a school called King Richard III College.
Why do you draw everything like that with like 2 horns? Like...
I didn't know. It's like a castle. Oh wait, I can make this better. There we go. So
I doubt that.
This is the school. So this is King Richard III, and it was a international school. So I had best friends that were German and like Swiss and a lot of other English people, because there's a lot of English people on the island of Majorca.
Right.
A lot of, what do they call them, expats. So...
Oh, that's white, Finn. You're drawing with white.
Hold on. So a lot of English people. There we go. England. That's the England flag. So yeah. So there's a lot of English people. So it was a good place to settle down. You know, there was a lot. Everyone speaks English there as well because they teach it in the schools. And then I had to learn. This is me. I'm not purple, but it's fine. I had to learn Espanol.
Okay, how much do you still know today?
Oh, piquito. No, not a lot, to be honest with you, because I had ADHD, so I was diagnosed with ADHD.
I would never have been able to tell.
As well. And do you know what's really funny? Well, it's not funny, but I suffered with twitches and tics when I was younger, and I'd blurt things out, so my parents thought I had Tourette's. And then I went for a brain scan, and the doctor... Oh, I should probably be...
Said they couldn't find it.
Yeah, they couldn't find... All right, that's not funny. So here I'm at the hospital place, and this is
Dude, why is every building like that?
This is the doctor, okay? So he's like, hey, Finley. And then here I am, just on the other side of the desk with my mum and dad. And he says, it's not Tourette's. His brain is perfectly healthy, but he suffers with ADHD, so he's very hyperactive. And my parents were relieved, and I didn't understand what it was at the time. And he said
you were probably using a fidget spinner at the time.
I actually was! I remember to this day, there was a pen, highlighter pen, this is a highlighter pen, and it was a magnet that you could spin around in circles like this, and I was playing with it on the desk because he was telling my parents this thing. It was really funny. It's almost like there's your evidence right there. So they said that, and he said that, you know, as I grew up, my hormones would balance out and it would kind of become fine again, which it did.
Whoa, put it away, Vin. Put it away.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that's not what you think. Okay,
hormones. Okay.
Yeah, moving on. So when I'm in Majorca, my parents say to me, Finn and fam, we are moving back.
You know you don't have to write things, you're saying them out loud.
We're moving back to the UK. And I was really, really happy. And I can't really remember why. I guess I'm just a home bird maybe by heart. And that was my homeland. So when they told me, I was really happy and excited. My sister and brother, not so much, because they were older than me. They were teenagers. So, you know, they had... Well, my sister wasn't a teenager. My brother was a teenager. So they had a lot of friends that they didn't want to leave behind in, like, schools and stuff. So, yeah, here are my brother's and my sister and brother
Okay.
thinking about going back home. But so we go back home. I enter year 5. Year 5, that's where I started because I left Mallorca in year 4. So 5 and 6 are my primary years in a school called Newhall. And this was in Chelmsford. And fun fact about this school, you're going to love this. It was one of Henry VIII's palaces. And it was
Really?
Yeah, and it was a gift, I believe, to... Was it Anne Boleyn? It might not have been Anne Boleyn, but one of his wives.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
you know, Henry VIII had like 100 palaces or something like that.
Literally crazy. And they converted it.
Good times.
Yeah, good times, am I right? And when they converted it, I had joined just after the nuns had left. So it's a Catholic school, and all the nuns were there running it, going, yeah, I'm a nun. So
Okay, that's what they were doing.
yeah,
Got it.
So yeah, that was a Catholic school, and I joined just after that. And so when I joined, it was year 5. I was my clowning around years. This is when I started to become the class clown. Yes.
You were the new kid at school
I
as well,
was the
right?
new kid at school, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's so exotic!
Okay,
He's from
Finn,
Mallorca."
You don't need to write the words you're saying
point.
every time. You
Good
can just
point.
draw pictures, okay?
Okay, fair enough. So we settled down back in England. We're home. And this moves us on. I then go to St. John Payne, which was a school in Chelmsford. So that was my year
What did
7
I just say, Finn?
to 11. Oh, you said don't write things down. Okay, hold on. All right. This is St. John Payne School. St. John Payne.
It's crazy how like every place you went to looks the same.
I know. Well, this one had like something here. There we go. A bit different, okay? And it had like eyes. It's more like a face. Anyway, so I settled in for year 7s to 11s, and then I went to a place called Writtle College, which was a college, believe it or not, and it was specializing in outdoors. And I thought at the time I wanted to be a chiropractor, and a chiropractor is somebody that this is your spine. So it's somebody that has to, fix problems with your joints, and these are your, this is your humerus bone, your arm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's your hold on. Ulna? I can't remember. So you got 2 bones here. This is your forearm bones.
Yep.
Your humerus is here. Radius and ulna, that was it. So one's your radius, one's your ulna.
Nice.
Anyway, so yes, and this is your head. There we go. So they click you into place with their hands and stuff. So they'll be like, hiya, click. And so
That's a kick.
yeah. Sometimes if you go to Thailand, they step on your back.
You drop kick your.
You drop
okay,
kick, it's
fine.
fine. And it's all I was obsessed with anatomy, and I loved, it was just, I found it fascinating, the body and how it works. So I thought I wanted to do that. So I went and studied sports science at college. Now, I didn't want to go to university. So this is university. I didn't want to go to university, and instead I wanted to get a job. So what I did was I left college with my diploma. There's like your A levels, and I don't know why I'm drawing a gun here.
Why have you got a gun?
It's meant to be. Hold on, that was not supposed to be a gun. That's supposed to be a bow. So I became an outdoors instructor, teaching kids archery and riding bikes and zip wire. So like, here's a zip wire, and like, I'd be on a harness going whee, and then go down to the end. So I had to teach like, biking. I had to teach kids how to ride a bike, how to do archery, how to do zip wire, outdoors activities such as like making campfires, how to survive in the wild. And
Did you actually know how to do any of this stuff?
Yeah,
Or,
of
like,
course
feel
I
like-
did. I taught the kids how to do it.
Yeah, but who taught you?
Well, I had when you join, you have like managers and senior instructors that you have to shadow, because obviously there's a lot of health and safety involved. Kids can die, and I shadow them until they sign you off. You take an exam, or take a test, and they shadow you teaching like classes of kids. And this really helped with my confidence, because when I was younger, I used to get stage fright really easily, so I hated performing in front of people. So this is a stage here. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm here like la 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 singing, and then I would go, oh, these are blushes on my cheeks, and I'd go, oh, I'm nervous. And here's all the kids.
People laughing
All
at
the
you.
people. No.
Loser,
Okay, no,
loser.
that's not what they were saying. But I used to get really scared. And I used to hate it. So throwing myself into the outdoors instructor role, I had to like teach, groups of 30 kids plus teachers that were there as well. And I had to know what I was doing. So that really helped boost my confidence. Now, with that knowledge, and sometimes I actually had kids that were from like, dodgy backgrounds and that would be in prison and stuff. So, juvie. So, I had to, this is like a mohawk. So I had to be like, hey, don't do that, or...
Why are you aiming a gun at them?
So this is me disciplining them, okay? So...
By shooting them in the face?
No, it was like a fake shot, but it went straight over the head. So the bullet went woo, over the head, so it's fine. Now, I'm only joking. We didn't have guns there, just bow and arrows. But so that was that. And then I decided, you know what? I did 2 to 3 years of this outdoor living life. This is grass and a tree. And I thought, I want something different. I want to go somewhere else in the world, but I still want to work. I didn't like the thought of traveling just to spunk a load of money on nothing and be a hippie about it. So I decided I wanted to earn money and learn new skills as well for my future. So I went to the US of A! And I went to a place called Copake, which is in New York. It was in upstate New York. I wonder if any of the viewers are from this area. And I tell you what, it was so barren and so empty, but I went to a place called Camp... Oh, wouldn't it be scary if like some of the kids watching this
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Camp
But they're probably much older now, right?
Yeah, but if they'd still gone... So it was a place called Camp Pontiac. And it was one of these really... I think it was like the top, 10, maybe 5 camps in the whole of America for like summer camps.
10 out of 5.
10 out of 5. And it was a sports camp. So you had like lots of like soccer and hockey, and it was a summer sports camp. So the kids, they were very wealthy parents, and they would be hitting pucks, going straight in. And anyway, sorry, I'm diverting. So I wanted to do something about my skills that I had learned. So I applied for a job role, and they gave me 2 options. One of them was I could go fishing and teach the kids how to fish. Now, I used to go fishing, but no way am I teaching kids how to fish. It is exhausting enough learning yourself. So I decided to do archery instead, which was a bow and arrow. And I thought, that sounds like a bit of me. A bit of health and safety, never hurt anyone. I can do that. It's all good. So,
and I can threaten kids with it if I need to.
I can threaten kids with it if I need to. So here's me with, a compound bow, they call it. Or a recurve bow. Sorry, this is a recurve bow. This is a compound bow with the gears. So we had both versions. This is me. I don't know why I look there. That's not meant to be that way.
Bleep that.
Sorry, bleep that. So, so this is me as I think I was... I was 20 years old. Yep, so I couldn't legally drink. So I'd gone from drinking at the pub and loving a beer to then being able to, no more drinking. So yeah, I couldn't do that in America, but we would sneak it. Because they're very serious about overage drinking there, and I don't know why. But anyway,
overage drinking?
Underage drinking, sorry. I don't know why.
So are you trying to admit to a crime on your Draw My Life?
No.
Okay.
So anyway, so I was there for about 3 months. So I was there for 3 calendar months. So here's the calendar, 1, 2, 3, and you got your little boxes and dotses. And I was in the USA for that long. So 2 months was on the camp, and then 1 month was traveling. And I went to a place called Pittsburgh. So that's the city of bridges. So there's a lot of bridges there that look like this,
we should probably avoid, you keep drawing on top of drawings.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so sorry. The city of bridges, baby. That's what they call it.
It looks a bit like the buildings.
Yeah, it's also like a H.
You give everything horns for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why, but here's the bridge, okay? So, it's kind of look like pylons, to be honest. But anyway, so city of bridges, baby. So I went to, Manhattan. I stayed in Manhattan for a while. Pittsburgh, Connecticut. And it was really, really fun. Then it was time for me to come home. So here's a teardrop. So I actually tried.
Were you sad to leave?
I was. I actually tried to extend my visa and get a permanent. I was offered a job on the camp to stay, and I thought that would be amazing. So I would help build the cabins, like the new cabins that were coming in.
But what happened?
Well, I phoned up. So here's the phone.
What did you just draw?
Do you know what? I was drawing a cabin, and then I just started doodling around it. So,
okay,
forget that.
Okay.
So I was.
It looks like a steak.
Yeah, I was meant to draw. So I was meant to build like some of the new cabins and like help with setting up the camp in the summer, and then I would possibly get a job as a skiing instructor in the mountains of the winter. Anyway, I phoned them up. This is the visa people at the embassy, and they said, "No, you're not allowed to. You can have 1 extra month." And I said, "Well, that's not enough." So, yeah.
Okay, no, put the gun away, Finn. Put the gun away.
So anyway, back home I went. Wait, hold on.
What is this?
That's yeah. So that's, and this is the cockpit. So I'm over here.
Yep, that's right.
Crying. Wah! With all the people on the flight going back home to the UK. Anyway, my parents missed me a lot, and I decided when I got back to the UK that, you know what? I actually am a creative person. I'm very creative. I used to love writing poetry, and I was halfway through writing a movie script. This is me with my feather pen.
Did you get distracted?
Well, actually, do you know what? I've kept everything. I've kept the storyboard and everything. Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, do you know what? That's a project that I would like to finish for myself one day. To say and it was a western, because westerns are one of my favorite movie genres. So I was writing a really let me say incredible western. Yeah. So I can
how many likes and if we get enough, then we'll make a western movie.
Western films, yeah. I don't want to dox the company name, but yeah, Something Productions. Okay. So anyway, that would be that's what I wanted to do. So I thought, right, I'm gonna get a job in the film industry. That's what I wanted to do, and I applied for a job as something called a runner. Now this is an old Victorian building in London, and I got a job in a place called Holborn, right, in London. Now, fun fact about this building. It used to be an old mortuary, which is where they it's where they take dead people. So he's croaked it, okay, so he's dead.
Right? Well, wait, hang on. So they were still doing this, or is this an old mortuary?
It was an old mortuary, sorry. It was built in like the 1600s. No, 1800s? Anyway, it was one of them. So it was 1800s, an old Victorian house. So it was a mortuary and a school and a barracks at one point. But the last thing it was a mortuary, which is why the windows, these things, were so high up, because people could peek over and see dead bodies in the building. And obviously we didn't want that to happen. So when I got there, it was a post-production house, all right? And do you know what that means, post-production? That means...
Why are you writing it?
I don't know, I just like it.
They do editing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they this is me on the PC editing the movie, okay? Or the documentary is what we worked on. So I was going, hey, yeah, that's great! And so that's what I was doing. And I got a job as a runner first. So what that basically means was I was the okay? So I had to go out and get people's lunches. So that's like not great.
No, why were you happy there?
Yeah, well, it was the stepping stone, okay? So
sure. How long were you doing that for to move on to the editing?
Well, something called Cough Cough Cough, the big C hit in 2020. And basically I had to go on something called furlough. So I was there for 3 months. They were really happy with my progress. I was there to prove myself, okay? And after 2 months, the big C hit, everything was locked down. But thankfully, something called, well, I say thankfully, in hindsight maybe not, but something called the furlough scheme was announced, which means that you can get paid for doing nothing and keep your job. So I think your employer had to pay like 70% of your wage, and you would just sit at home basically until you could go back to work. So I messaged my old boss. He had like fired me a couple of weeks prior. And I messaged him saying, hey, bro, what is up with thee? Can you please put me on the furlough scheme? So this is me on the phone again, okay? Looking really cool. And he said... Let's do like a
We're getting into the detail, I think, slightly, but yeah.
Yeah, he said... He's got one massive eye. He said, yes, I can do that, Finn. So I was really, really happy with that. So that was great. And I basically...
So free money for the couch. Got it.
Yeah, free money for the couch, bought a gaming chair. It was a really hot summer. I think we had like 40-degree heat on one of the days. And so I had to basically sunbathe, you know, and
okay,
pretty
just
much,
stop, Vin.
you know, just enjoy my life.
It looks like a carrot. It looks like a carrot.
So I was soaking up the sun rays. Anyway, 2 months go by and I become very, very bored. And I'm losing my mind at this point. So, actually, I don't know if I can tell you this. Because okay, I can't say that. All right, never mind. So,
edit that out. Bleep
Right.
that. Just bleep it.
Bleep it all out. So,
Why have you got a gun?
I don't know. I went back to work in London, right, after however long. And I was so bored, I was begging my boss to go back, so he let me back. And it was really dead. It was like a ghost town in old London. So this is the London Eye. There we go.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the London Eye. And yeah, so I went back to work, and it was really hard because I was just all on my own, just all alone, doing nothing but, you know, being alone. So alone. And fun fact about this place, reverting back to it being a mortuary, it was indeed haunted.
Okay, Finn, I think we're getting distracted. I think maybe we advanced the storyline a bit. I think going into a haunted side story maybe not super relevant to my life.
We will move on. So I was in post-production, and
we know.
Yeah, wait. So I was a runner, and then I got promoted to be what they call an edit assistant, which is really good. Okay, so that, well, you know, it's another step up.
Why have you got a gun again?
I don't know. It's like I'm forcing them to make me an edit assistant. Anyway, that was another stepping stone. So, some time has passed. I'm edit assistant. I've become very unhappy in my job. I think to myself, this isn't what I want to do anymore. Oh, wait, no, that should be a upside down smiley. So I'm thinking, this isn't what I want to do anymore. I want to be, you know, the lead of my own, like, creative team or just do something where I'm making something. And these are, like, movie reels, just so you know. They don't look like this. These are cameras, sorry. Okay, so I thought to myself, right, well, do you know what? I'm quite interested in what they call voice acting. So, I set up something in my wardrobe. So this is my microphone, yeah? And I started voice acting. So I taught myself a program called Pro Tools, and that's how to edit audio. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to just make a demo reel, which someone found actually a while ago and put on the Reddit. That's taken down now. But I made myself a demo reel, and I got my voice acting on there, and I sent it out, and I landed quite a few jobs. And I landed it on a place called Fiverr as well. So I was getting loads of 5-star reviews from different companies. I did mostly documentary voiceovers, so I would be like this. All right, ready for it?
Okay.
As you can see, this is a wild Joshua temple. I have nothing else to say. Okay, so it would be kind of like that.
Better at reading than coming up
with my own lines. So I would be reading from a script like this, and yeah, I would be mouthing it, you know, into the thingamajig. So that was what I did, and I did that for a while. And I thought, you know what, I really want to be a voice actor. I love video games. I love actually listening to how they talk on the games. I would be looking up all the different voice actors and all the trainings that they would do on YouTube, which then brings me in. Wait, hold on, this should be red. This is YouTube. So this brings me into my next chapter of my life. So, I'm voice acting, but it's hard because you are only reliant on the jobs that you get through, and you might not get all of them that you apply for. A bit like an actor, okay? So you only get paid for the jobs you do and get. Now, that was hard, and I wanted to earn more money and have a stable income and have the security behind that, but also being a creative job. So I went on a job hunt, and I was every day searching on my keyboard, looking for jobs in some form of creative output. So that'd be, you know, screenwriter or producer or anything, cameraman, anything to do with film, TV, gaming, whatever. Even if I could find like a permanent voice acting role on radio. And I landed a quick role briefly on a radio station by a guy I found on LinkedIn who ended up being a so if you're watching,
Is this another gun?
no, that's the microphone.
Okay.
On the radio station. And it was really funny because it was pre-recorded, so I'd be in my bedroom and I'd be going, thank you for listening to Joshua Temple and his new song, Finn's My Bestie. Coming up next, and then I'd like talk about current affairs, the weather, whatever was going through my mind at the time. Okay, and I thought that was really fun, but time to move on. And now it brings me to you, Joshua Temple. Here
Okay,
you...
you keep calling me Joshua Temple. I don't understand
Here
why.
you
okay.
are. You had longer hair, though, when I met you. And
No, you didn't. No, I didn't.
And a bit of a beard. No, didn't you?
No, I had shorter hair than I had longer hair. Just
Are you
keep
sure?
going.
Okay, this is you. Anyway, and I was like, oh... Daddy Josh, please give me a job. And you did. And you did. All right, so, moving on. I got a job, you know, working at Slogo. I started off as you know, a creative assistant. So I was coming up with some ideas for videos, and I would work sometimes alongside Rishi as well. But yeah, I'd be coming up with like, you know, Slogo long form ideas. And then so that then like landed into like our different channels like SLG and Jumbled. And then obviously eventually where I am now with Finoggin Minecraft. And yeah, the rest is kind of history, guys. But that's pretty much
Well, the rest of it is what we're living now,
yeah,
buddy.
it's what we're living now. So, bestie,
What have you drawn?
this is the... Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting to do the colors. This is the YouTube... Wait, how do I get a thicker... Oh, there we go. Look, this is the YouTube
Okay, all right.
icon.
Okay, well,
there we
Finn,
go.
I must say that was a very excellent draw, my life.
Can we do one where I'm not the one drawing and somebody can just interpret what I'm saying?
I did think about maybe drawing for you. It's been an experience watching your drawing, but it's been informative as well.
Yeah,
So
I thought so. And how did you feel about it all?
You know what? It's a great.
Yeah? It's a great?
Yeah,
nice.
it's a great. Thank you so much,
You're
Finn.
so
welcome.
welcome.
I'm sure the comments are going to have a lot of questions, but there we go.
I will answer as many as I can.
Okay, all right. Actually, that's a good idea. You can answer in the on the Finoggin channel.
I will answer in the comments, yeah.
All right, okay. Bye.
See you later.